So I was online and I saw the headline, read a bit of the article, and knew I needed to make a video on this and let everybody know. Peeved by price gouging and shortages, hospitals will now make their own drugs. Sounds intriguing, I'll be honest, because as someone who takes medication daily and lives in a rural area that's kind of hard to get some of the stuff, it can be kind of nice. This is a shot across the bow of the bad guys. They need one. Big Pharma needs one so badly. They've needed one for years. And of course, right here is the perfect example of why. Douchebags like Martin Shkreli. For 4 of the country's largest hospital systems, enough is enough. Sick of drug companies' eye-popping price hikes and ridiculous shortages, the feisty hospital systems announced Wednesday that they've banded together and formed an unnamed non-profit to make their own steady supply of affordable generic medicines. I'm hoping this works so much, if not for myself, for those that truly need it even more than I do. Because it's getting ridiculous. If you've ever played the games Fallout, you'll see like the prices for a toy in there called Giddy Up Buttercup. It's like it's basically a mechanical little toy horse. It costs like over $2,000. And like magazines cost like $40 per issue. Of course, that's, several years into the future because of inflation. Well, that's the way it's headed now, and it's going to be completely unsustainable for medicine in the future at this rate. The leading hospital system, Intermountain Healthcare, released a statement explaining, the new company intends to be an FDA-approved manufacturer and will either directly manufacture generic drugs or subcontract manufacturing to reputable contract manufacturing organizations, providing patients with affordable alternative to products from generic drug companies whose capricious and unfair price practices are damaging the generic drug market and hurting consumers. The company will also seek to stabilize the supply of essential generic medications administered in hospitals, many of which have fallen into chronic shortage. And like I said, the prices are absolutely ludicrous. Look at what Mylan did recently, I think it was last year, with the price of EpiPens. That's ridiculous. The price hikes are insane. They just need to stop at some point. For God's sakes, they charge $800 for an IV that costs an IV bag, which costs like $1 to make. At some point, profit turn. I understand wanting to make a profit. I completely do. I would like to profit from my videos, just like anybody else would like to make a profit. I get that. But at some point, it turns to just straight up greed. And it needs to stop when it starts hurting other people. People that cannot maintain their medication without going bankrupt. Standing with Intermountain Healthcare is Ascension, SSM Health, and Trinity Health. The U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs is also collaborating with the group. Together they represent more than 450 hospitals across the country. In an interview with the New York Times, Intermountain Healthcare's CEO, Dr. Mark Harrison, did not mince words. This is a shot across the bow of the bad guys, he said. We are not going to lay down. We are going to go ahead and try and fix it. And I'm hoping upon hope that they succeed, because it really needs to be fixed so badly. The news and furor following years of headline scandals and congressional hearings over certain drug companies dramatically rising their prices of generic drugs and creating frustrating shortages. The most notable example is that of Martin Shkreli's company, Turing Pharmaceuticals, which dramatically raised the price of the old, cheap generic drug Daraprim by more than 5,000%, from $13.50 to $7.50 a pill. Daraprim is used to treat a parasitic infection and often given to babies and HIV/AIDS patients. Like I said, at some point it goes from being profit-driven to greed driven. And I think once that point's reached, someone needs to step in and say, enough's enough, lower the price. And this is ridiculous. The group is not disclosing what specific medicines it will make out of fear that generic competitors could block them from the market by lowering prices temporarily. We're going to have to hold that very close to our vest, Dr. Harrison told the Times. And I completely get it, because, let's face it. In a world where, money, 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 they'll sabotage any way they can. And I see, these big pharma companies, they're going to come for this group. Some way, somehow, they're going to try, and I hope they fail, because big pharma needs to get a kick in the ass and say, hey, it's not okay anymore. We're done. We're not paying your absurd prices for this crap. Harrison said the group will focus on distributing drugs to hospitals at first, but it will consider expanding its efforts later. If the only way to provide our communities with affordable drugs is to produce them ourselves, then that's what we will do, Dr. Richard Gilfillan, CEO of Trinity Health, said in a statement. Finally, health groups are actually trying to help the health of people and not make money. Well, an absurd amount. Dr. Carolyn M. Clancy, executive in charge of the Veterans Health Administration, applauded the effort. As an organization which must have an affordable and stable supply of generic pharmaceuticals to fulfill its healthcare mission, the Department of Veterans Affairs looks forward to the value this new company will bring to healthcare in the United States, she said. And that is wonderful. If nothing else, the veterans need better healthcare. They need taken care of. They deserve it after all they've done. And I've seen firsthand I'm assuming, firsthand, because my best friend's dad is a veteran, and he goes to the VA. And I've seen, the waits and everything. It needs to stop. Staffing at the VA also needs up. The nonprofit will be steered by senior level leaders of the founding healthcare system, as well as an advisory panel. Yeah, you can just read the list, because I'm not even going to start, because I know I'm going to screw up the first name, and I don't want to be that guy. But, yeah. It's safe to say I am thrilled with this, because it needs to be done, and hopefully this will succeed, and more hospital systems will join in, because the prices from big pharmaceutical companies they've gotten ridiculous. And I say we support this group in any way we can, because let's face it, they need it. They will need it. It will be an uphill fight against these big pharmaceutical companies, because of course competition is bad for them, but it's good for us. And we need every little thing we can get to help us as the little guy, so to speak, because this is ridiculous. The prices have gone too far, and I'm just hoping this group is able to get something done, and something done quickly, because the American people need it, because we're a laughingstock at this point, and I completely understand why. Even I laugh at how bad our system is.